Okay, so in addition to this, okay, so in Oklahoma City, I believe it was, I'm pretty sure Oswego. I didn't ask, but I was assuming Oswego. Oswego goes up to, um, as far as depth goes, where I was at, it was about 50 feet below ground below that. So you go ground service and 50 feet more down and then there. But then someone told me it runs up even closer to underground. So it's not even quite 50 feet. It's a lot more shallower than that. Okay, so anyway, I talked to this one guy, and he's a young dude. He looked like he was in his 20s or whatever, and I could see him. And he came on, and he was fucking freaking the fuck out. And he showed me like him climbing in and out of a cave, basically. And then he had on an FBI jacket, and I'm like, dear God, what the fuck is going on? And he's like, she gave us these jackets. I was like, oh my God. And then he goes, she told us that we work for the FBI. I was like, oh my fucking God. So, and he goes, then he ripped he ripped his a jacket off, and he just put on like a regular like black hoodie, jacket or whatever. I think he put on a red to indicate he lived underground. But I think he realized what that was. Or no, we switched it out for him because they keep showing him in my brain. We switched it out for him and just put like a black jacket on him. So if they show him in my brain, they just put a black jacket on him. But he ripped the FBI coat. He tore the FBI coat off of himself. And I was like, he goes, she tells us we're the FBI. And then he goes, we get orders. She tells us it's coming from the cartel, but it's coming from her, and then it goes into the cartel. So sometimes we get her, sometimes we get the cartel, but it's literally her because she's working someone over. So then I had the leaders of the cartel on at the time, and they were like freaking the fuck out because they're thinking, this is massive. It's about to get really massive. And they're just finding out what the heck is going on. And they're trying to explain stuff to me. And I do not know Gang 101 anything. And they're trying to explain to me how massive the cartel is and how, how gangs work, like in branching or branch outs, and how it all connects through the cartel. And they're just trying to figure out how do we reach people if she's busy, if she's got more Charles Manson-ness and she's doing that already. How do we reach people? It's harder to reach everyone. And then everybody was like, well, what if you just take one person? If one person goes and talks to 10 people in intelligence or 10 military or 10 gang members and says this is what's really going on, and then each one of those people goes and tells 10 people, then pretty soon everybody is aware of what's going on, and everybody knows, everybody's just waiting for the Secret Service or the Batarams to bust Jean. So, and the cartel was on with me watching Jean literally hack. She doesn't work for the CIA or the FBI or anything. She's like wormed her way in. She's got fraud IDs, everything. They literally, it was funny actually. I'm just like sitting around with the leaders of the cartel, and they're like, she was in another cell in my brain, and they're like, watch this. They go in, and it's like so funny. Like they walk in and they're like, what are you doing? Or someone said, what are you doing? And she goes, I'm busy right now. And they're like, what are you doing? And she goes, I'm busy. And she's like talking, she's sitting with a military guy, a retired military guy. And they're like literally talking to people in Spanish, and I can hear them, the cartel can hear them talking to people in Spanish, like they're on like a ham radio, like giving like orders, and this is the way it is, and this is what's going on. And I'm sitting there like, oh my God. And the cartel's like, and then they're talking about, oh my God, she's in the freaking CIA, FBI systems. That means she's like been using ICE on everyone. And all she has to do is just log into those systems, and she knows everybody's family members. She knows everybody's friends. And then plus you got to think of everything intelligence already knows, that she already knows by her spying and icing intelligence. And she already knows who to work what. So they're just like, oh my God, she could be going on inside, using AI, pretending to be a Latin person's family member or even a friend or whatever, or acting like members of the cartel. They did say that. They said she goes on inside the cartel and she says she's cartel, and she's not. And then they have all kinds of scuffles, like what the heck is going on? Because it causes a big time confusion, and they know that it is Gene Roberts doing that. So they're like, what is going on? So because this is big time freaking, like what I call is, it's not everyday cops and robbers. I mean, this is serious global terrorism, and they want it stopped, and they want her out of their people, and they don't want their land or their people hurt, and the people that she has, they want them back. And so it's kind of got all in a muck here in Tulsa, because she went on a whirlwind tour on trying to act like she's Latino. She tries to act like she's my first mother-in-law, and trying to manipulate Latin people here. And there are people here that are confused about who's who, and nobody's straightening it out or anything. And it's like, there's nothing I can do except to continue to tell her. But the leaders of cartels, like, this needs to stop. This completely needs to stop. Like, Jean needs to be arrested. She has no right to have using artificial intelligence on any of their people. So as far as that guy, he was Caucasian, and so he was like, he just cut her off. He just cut her off completely. I mean, that's the last I knew. He was like, I don't have to deal with her. Now that I know you have connections that go like up here, and this was at the time in AI. Now I know you have connections. I don't have to, unless she came on after that and threatened orders or whatever. But he was like, I don't have to help her. And I don't want to be charged for a crime of saying that I'm an FBI when I don't claim to be an FBI. She's the one that says she's FBI, and she's out handing out, FBI jackets and IDs. And this is what's really funny, which that kid would get a kick out of, and I never told him. Maybe he saw it in my brain. But there's one time I went shopping with her, and this was in Slidell, and she was really, 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 really rude, right? And she had on her Navy jacket. Now, mind you, she committed stolen valor in the Navy. She had on her Navy jacket. And people will superimpose or put that in my brain all the time, how she was in the store, and she was signaling that she was trafficking me to the Ku Klux Klan. And I watched her do it with her eyes. She grabbed a loaf of white bread from the bottom shelf, and she did some kind of weird signal thing with her eyes, signaling that I was for sale. And she was signaling it to the Ku Klux Klan. Now, I was like sitting there like, you are fucking insane. But anyway, so she was like being real arrogant and snotty and walking through the store. And, so anyway, the president at the time, Joe Biden, which I guess he's still president. I'm like, sorry, my brain is frazzled. But anyway, he came on in my brain a couple of years ago. And then he took the FBI jacket, not the FBI jacket. He took the Navy jacket off of her. He ripped it off of her, ripped it in half, ripped it off of her. And then he stuck it in his desk drawer in the Oval Office. So that is where that left off there. So I don't think that she's going to get away with anything.